control, T-minus 90 seconds and counting. The launch vehicle has gone to internal power. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Start.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff at 16 minutes after the hour. Climbing very nicely. We have a roll program initiated.
Flight departures have started. And in sync.
Roll program completed. McDivitt report. And the pitch program has been initiated. Pilot Ed White advises he's received an update of data on the computer on board that spacecraft. We have staging, and it's been confirmed here on the ground.
Thrust looks good.
Thrust looks good on the second stage. Our radio guidance system, which controls the terminal phase of powered flight, has gone into effect, and it is working very nicely. 3 minutes into the mission, 3 minutes. Both in lofting and all other elements, we're right on the money.
In this episode, we have Gemini 4 mission audio, what I've been up to, some reading that I've been doing over the past few months, and some Skylab updates for the 50th anniversary of that incredible mission. Enjoy.
For the eyes of the world now look into space, to the moon, and to the planets beyond.
This is The Space Shot, episode 434 for June 2023. I'm John Molnix. It's hard to believe that we're basically halfway through the year already. My wife and I will be having our first baby here in a little under 4 months, actually closer to 3.5, I think now, which is exciting, terrifying, all those fun things together. It has blown by this year, so I can't imagine how life is just going to go into an even higher gear once this little one is here. We found out we'll be having a baby girl, so we're excited about that. Lots of NASA clothes are in her future, I'm sure of it, so I gotta pull out an old NASA worm hoodie that I had when I was a little kid, so she's gonna have some cool stuff. In today's episode, just want to catch up. I've been doing a ton of reading. There will be a book review episode coming up here soon, probably later June, early July. I've also got some things in planning. We got to figure out scheduling and everything, but doing a big Skylab 50th podcast extravaganza with a couple of people that you already know, but I'm really excited to get everyone together in one big group for that. The audio from the Coffee at the Cosmo with Emily Carney, David Hitt, Jack Lausma, and Milt Windler will be out soon. That's just, at this point, I need to have a little bit more free time to do the editing for that. It's mostly done, but there's still a few new things that I need to get finished up for that. So that'll be a two-parter episode. The Cosmosphere's JWST podcast episode is still coming out here soon as well. I want to get that out before we do the Skylab episode. So be sure to keep an eye on your podcast feed for those episodes here in the near future. I'll talk more about the books in the dedicated book episode that's coming up here, but The New Guys by Meredith Bagby was a phenomenal read. I really, really enjoyed that, and I hope to have her on the podcast. I caught the chat that she had on Space and Things a while back, and I just got around to reading that book. I think I finished it last weekend. It was a day and a half read. It was just, like once you pick it up, you couldn't put it down. So I'm really looking forward to reading that again in the future and hopefully having the author on to talk about that period of space history and the impact that those shuttle astronauts had on the program, on culture, on society at large. I think it's a phenomenal book and a great addition that really illuminates a period of history that we don't know as much about compared to Gemini, Mercury, Apollo. I've also been busy with a lot of jewelry work over the last few months. I took a hand engraving class. Bought a bunch of new equipment and tools to be able to do hand engraving and some advanced types of stone setting that I haven't done before. So my free time, which I normally do the podcast with, has been taken up by doing jewelry work. So that's one of the reasons you haven't heard from me in a while. I'll be doing some cool space-themed jewelry with that setup here soon. So keep an eye out for that as well. Never a dull moment here in Wichita, Kansas. So whenever I get free time now, it seems to be jewelry related. I know things will settle down here a little bit and I'll get back in the groove of where I want to be with doing jewelry, with doing my regular day job, and with doing the podcast. So I appreciate everyone's patience for the weird lengths of time that are now between these episodes. It should get back to more normal-ish. I'm hoping once a month or so for podcast episodes.
How you guidance?
We're solid flight, both systems.
Guidance says we're solid.
10 seconds.
Both systems, the primary system in the booster and the radio guidance steering system. 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Stand by for sustainer engine cutoff. Seco, McDivitt says. And Grissom confirms here on the ground that we have a Seco signal.
Standby looks a little short to me. Nope, looks like she got across okay. Bad data. Right.
Flight plan calls for McDivitt to...
Gemini 4, your go.
We've been given a go by Chris Kraft.
Bermuda, air to ground. Raj.
Gemini 4, your go.
Grissom repeats your go, Gemini 4.
Gemini 4, this is Houston Capcom, your go. Do you read?
For the rest of today, though, I wanted to share the audio from the mission from Gemini 4. The archive.org website has some amazing NASA audio files that are the historical audio reels. Listening to these, it's kind of a fun thing to just have on in the background if you're playing it on a web browser, but they're not the easiest to scan through. So what I did for this is I've got, you heard some of the mission audio from like the launch and the countdown earlier at the opening of this episode. But now for the rest of today's episode, we've got the audio from the first spacewalk, the first extravehicular activity that Ed White did during that mission. Gemini 4 launched on June 3rd, 1965 on a Titan 2 Gemini launch vehicle from Launch Complex 19. Gemini 4 was NASA's first multi-day mission, which was designed to help show that humans could function in weightlessness for extended periods of time, something that was crucial for the upcoming Apollo missions. The two big objectives, aside from being in space for multiple days, were to prove that astronauts could rendezvous with another spacecraft. Unfortunately, there was a lot of things working against the astronauts for that rendezvous. The crew then just decided to move on to the second major part of the mission, which was Ed White's first spacewalk and the test of a handheld maneuvering unit. The exchanges between McDivitt, White, and then the Capcom Gus Grissom are just really fun to listen to. Everything from McDivitt jokingly chastising Ed White for smearing up his windshield to Ed being told he has to get back inside the spacecraft and just being a little bit sad about that. The first EVA wasn't very long, so this episode won't have a ton of mission audio, but it's really interesting to listen to in real time. The astronauts finished up their mission. They ended up doing radiation measurements, exercising with bungee cords. They also took sextant measurements to prove that navigation was possible. And then on June 7th, 1965, their Gemini spacecraft re-entered Earth's atmosphere for a splashdown about 360 miles east of Cape Canaveral. And the USS Wasp was the recovery ship, and they were able to get the crew and their spacecraft on board a short time later. One quick note, I've removed a few instances of dead air from the audio file, and I've tried to clean up as best as I can, but the original audio is pretty rough. It is difficult to hear Ed White during his EVA. I've tried to clean that up as best as I can, but this episode will definitely be best experienced with a pair of headphones as opposed to car audio. And then the final note, the saddest moment of my life, where you can hear Ed White talking about having to get back in the spacecraft, is around 32 and a half minutes in this file. Now, without any further delay, here is the audio from Gemini 4.
This is Gemini Control. 4 hours and 24 minutes into the mission. The Hawaii station has just established contact. And the pilot, Jim McDivitt, advises the cabin has been depressurized. It is reading 0.
I'll read you loud and clear. How many?
Loud and clear. We're on box. I guess you aren't getting us on box.
Roger, we just now received you. What is your status on decompression?
Got the outside 60-millimeter camera mounted, and he's getting the gun ready right now.
Roger, I understand. Can you give us a reading on your emergency O2? Did you copy, Gemini 4?
Roger, you mean the emergency O2 and Ed's body?
Affirmative.
It was full, and
It's 3-4 right now.
it's 3-4. Roger,
Yep.
say something.
It's 3-4 right now. Hasn't changed the spec. How do you read? Roger, read you loud and clear, pilot. How many? The, outside the spacecraft, as a matter of fact. Roger, understand. Houston, flight, did you copy?
Affirmative.
Flight Hawaii, Capcom.
Go ahead.
Roger, I understand. I copy. He is outside of the spacecraft at this time.
This is Gemini Control. White has opened the door. He has stood up.
Craft.
Roger, he has the hatch open. He's standing in the seat.
Roger, understand. Houston will give you a go or no-go to exit spacecraft over Guaymas. Did you copy?
Let's hear that conversation live right now while White is standing up in the seat. The hatch is open.
Gemini 4, Hawaii, Capcom.
Go ahead, Hawaii. Gemini 4.
Roger, did you copy my last? Houston will give you go, no-go to exit spacecraft over Guaymas.
Roger, everything looks good here. What do you think?
We're happy with it.
Everything looks good on the ground, Gemini 4.
Very good.
Flight, Hawaii.
Go ahead.
Roger, emergency O2 is 3,400 PSI.
Roger, we copied.
Roger, he is standing in the seat.
Roger, we copied.
All systems on the ground look good.
Roger.
Our ECS is doing good. It's reading still 50%. Looks like we're not even using it.
We concur on the ground.
When he's moving around out there, he's really rocking the spacecraft around.
Roger, understand.
Hawaii. Houston flight.
Houston, flight away, Capcom, go.
Tell him we're ready to have him get out when he is.
Roger, understand.
Tell him to give us a mark.
Gemini 4, Hawaii, Capcom.
Go ahead, Hawaii. Gemini 4.
Roger, we just had word from Houston. We're ready to have you get out whenever you're ready. Give us a mark when you egress the spacecraft.
Okay, we've got our go now. Is that right?
Affirmative.
Okay.
Be sure and give us a mark when he egresses.
Okay, we're still doing a little work right here.
Roger, understand.
Get his status, Hawaii.
Gemini 4, Hawaii, Capcom. What is your status now?
We're about ready to start getting out. just got one of his gloves back on. He's going to put another one on there. We'll be ready to go.
Can you repeat, Gemini 4?
Set, res, right now.
Gemini 4, Hawaii Capcom, can you repeat your last transmission? Gemini 4, Hawaii Capcom, do you copy? Gemini 4, Hawaii Capcom, do you copy?
This is Gemini Control.
Houston, flight Hawaii Capcom.
Go ahead.
Apparently the
Roger, we
spacecraft-
couldn't copy his last. He might have got out. We think he said, I'm getting out right now at 19:45:45 Zulu.
The Hawaii station advised
Raj, we
We'll
copy.
play it back
the
on the
last
tape.
transmission was he is getting
Right,
out
that's all right.
now.
We've had LOS.
45
Roger,
minutes
LOS.
after the hour.
I don't think that's
Very shortly after that transmission,
Say
we
again?
had lost
Capcom, I don't think that's what he said. He said he was putting it, had one glove on, he was putting his second glove on.
Yeah, but I think
Gus
he did
Grissom,
transmit
capsule
right after that.
communicator here
he
isn't
thought he
so
said-
sure
I
that
thought- I
was the
understood
version of
you
the
say he's
message.
dressing right now.
It'll be several minutes before we can establish whether he did leave the spacecraft at that time or not. In any case, he was feeling good. The surgeon was entirely satisfied with what he was reading. And the weather over the United States looks like it's going to cooperate. The weather in the southwest is clear over Arizona. Moving farther east, partly cloudy over Texas and Louisiana. Scattered clouds over Florida. So in general, the viewing, while White is out in space over the United States, should be excellent. We'll stand by for a recontact with our California station in perhaps 2 minutes. This is Gemini Control at 4 hours and 31 minutes into the mission.
You just tell him we get a signal, I'll call him.
Gemini 4, California Comtech.
California Comtech, Houston Capcom.
Go ahead, Houston.
You just tell me when you get TM signal, I'll give him a call.
Roger, we have TM.
Gemini 4, Houston Capcom. Gemini 4, Houston Capcom. Gemini 4, Houston Capcom, over. California, are we keying?
That's affirmative, Houston. We are keyed.
Gemini 4, Houston Capcom. And you do have a valid signal.
That is affirmative.
Gemini 4, Houston Capcom. Gemini 4, Houston Capcom.
Who's calling the Gemini 4?
Houston Capcom, has he egressed?
He's out just and it's really nifty.
Say again?
It worked very well, and I can't read anybody. So I'll have to relay. The gun works well. He's been able to maneuver all over. Out front, back onto the nose, and he's back out again.
That's great. I read you now, Ed.
It's not really working, Ed.
Yeah, it's working. Keep talking. Gemini 4, it's working. Keep talking. Gemini 4, keep talking. It's working. Gemini 4, Houston Capcom.
I imagine his antenna patterns are changing quite a bit, too.
Gemini 4, Houston, Capcom.
Go ahead, Gus.
Time to keep talking. We're receiving Ed through your Vox.
Okay, we're going to Vox then. Okay, Ed, they're receiving you. Okay, tell them what you think. Okay, Capcom, I'm very easy to maneuver with again. The only problem I have is I have got enough fuel. I'm exhausting the fuel now, but I was able to maneuver myself out of the spacecraft back, maneuvered right up there on the back of the adapter. Just about fused, came back into his gear. The only thing I wish is I had more.
Somebody locally's got a keyed mic.
Go back and my head. I'm looking right now. It looks like we're coming up on the coast of California. I'm going in slow rotation to the right. There's absolutely no disorientation associated with it. One thing about it, when Ed gets out there and starts wiggling around, it sure makes the spacecraft tough to control.
Is he taking pictures?
I feel just about like it.
Take some pictures.
Okay, I'm going to work on getting some pictures, Jim. Okay, get out in front where I can see you again. I've only got about 3 on the Hasselblad. Okay. Where are you? I don't have the control on that anymore with that gun.
Yeah, you got about 5 minutes.
Well, I want to get out and get some pictures. I haven't got satisfied with that. Okay, I'll get it down on the okay, I'm going to stop firing the thrusters now. There's no difficulty with recontacting the spacecraft. It's all very soft. Particularly as long as you move nice and slow. Feel very thankful to have the experience to be doing that. Right now, I'm right on top of the first dip push-up. I'll bring myself in and put myself out of here. Okay. Do it slowly or I'll take your picture.
Can you see the booster, Gus?
Right now, I can maneuver much better if I didn't have the gun with the camera on it. And I have to try one hand up with it. Okay. Stay right there if you can.
Switches to Texas.
We are, this is Gemini Control, Houston.
Am I clear to thrust a little bit?
Texas.
Okay.
Here we are.
Let me just please float around. Right now, we're pointing just about straight down to the ground. Okay, now I'm taking a look back at the adapter. I've listed back there. I can see the separation plane is quite clean. The thrusters are clean. The thermal state, the thermal sizing looks quite good. Also, the Velcro that we put on seems to be in good shape right by the camera. I'm coming back down on the space station. I can sit up here and see the whole California coast. Okay, now I'm going to go on. See how much I got enough.
Flight the surgeon. The data looks great here.
Texas, remote your air to ground. California, go local.
How's his EKG, Surgeon?
It looks great flight. Gee, he's just ripping along here at a great rate.
Texas Comtech, Houston Comtech.
This is Texas Contact.
Roger. What's happening to all? What's causing all the noise when you go to remote?
I don't know. I don't hear a thing.
Go to remote.
Go to remote on UHF.
This is Gemini Control at Houston. Here on the ground, we're watching a scope of the heart action and respirations.
You got 4 minutes and 30 seconds left.
Mark at 2000 hours.
Go to Cape Air to ground.
Oh, yeah, is that right? Where it's attached to you or where it's attached to the spacecraft?
Gemini 4, Houston, Capcom.
Okay.
Gemini 4, Houston, Capcom.
Yes, wow.
Right.
I'm putting eye down your gun now. All right. Let me take a close-up picture there. Oh, you smeared up my windshield, you dirty dog. Yeah. You see how it's all smeared up there? Yeah. It looks like there's a coating on the outside and you've rubbed it off. That's exactly what you've done.
Gemini 4, Houston, Capcom. Gemini 4, Houston, Capcom.
Right now, the spacecraft rates are up about 1 degree per second in pitch and yaw and about 0.5 degree per second in roll. I'm not satisfied with the picture that I've got yet. Okay.
Break in, Gus.
Houston, Capcom.
Man, I don't even know exactly where we are, but it looks like we're about over Texas again.
Gemini 4, Houston, Capcom.
As a matter of fact, you know, that looks like Houston down below us.
Gemini 4, Houston, Capcom.
Hey, Gus, I don't know if you're reading, but we're right over Houston. Look at Run out and look.
Gemini 4. Gemini 4, Houston.
Yeah, that's Gallows Bay right there. Hey, Ed, can you see in your side the spacecraft? Can you see the camera here? Yeah. Is it pointing at you? No, not now. Which way? Behind the camera. I'm not getting the picture. Now, don't get back there where the... No, I'm not behind it. I'm right above my head.
Capcom, release your
Gemini 4, Houston.
Release your air-to-ground key.
Gemini 4, Houston.
Yes, sir. That'll really be it, huh?
Gemini 4, Houston. Gemini 4, Houston.
Still not satisfied with the picture, because I've only got about 3 or 4. Is that right? Well, I've taken a lot, but they're not very good. You're in too close for most of them. I finally put the focus down to about 8 feet or so.
Gemini 4, Houston.
Flight, would you tell
Oh, yeah, that's great clouds of water behind you.
when you're trying to talk to him? So what, he can, I can't do that, young man. He's on box. Roger.
Gemini 4, Houston. Gemini 4, Houston.
Right, the surgeon,
Gemini 4, Houston.
You know, Ed, this thing about the reference we were talking about looks like it's sure right. Yeah.
Gemini 4, Houston. Gemini 4, Houston.
See what flight director's got to say.
The flight director says get back in.
Well, this is Jim. What, got any message for us?
Gemini 4, get back in.
Okay. I don't know, we're coming over to the west there. They want you to come back in now.
Roger, we've been trying to talk to you for a while here.
No, back in. Come on. We still got 3.5 more days to go, buddy. Okay.
You got about 4 minutes till Bermuda LOS. You got about 4 minutes to Bermuda LOS, Jim. Gemini 4, Houston, Capcom.
Okay, don't worry yourself out now. Just come on in. How you doing there? Good. You guys up to your back on auto. Lots of pressure. You're making 79, about 47%. Spacecraft really looks like it's outgassing because whenever a little piece of dirt or something goes by, it always heads right for that door and goes on out. Okay, let's take it easy now. Take it easy. Okay, you're on top. Come on in.
Let's fight this way. Let's
Boy,
this
engine
really
coolant on the
guaranteed.
spacecraft is fantastic. You just put in a 2 degree per second attitude change and just nothing flat. Can't you get a hole there, Ed? Yeah. Okay. No, come on in. Ed, come on in here.
Gemini 4, you read the Cape, read the Houston.
What? Number 8? Okay, how's number 8? Okay, let's not lose that camera now. I don't quite have it. A little bit more. But easy. Okay, I got it. Well, you know, we sort of talked about that, but then you didn't have any place for the camera. Come on, let's get back in here before it gets dark. Well, you're going to find a center when we have to come down from this whole thing. Okay. Come on now.
Give him a call again, Gus.
Okay.
Gemini 4, Houston, Capcom.
Make sure you got those hatchdogs fixed now.
Gemini 4, Houston, Capcom. Gemini 4, Houston, Capcom. Gemini 4, Houston, Capcom.
I just put all that stuff down there. Okay, I'm going over to push the talk now. I continue there. Okay, any other messages for us, Houston?
Yeah, get back in.
Roger, you're on your way. You're getting him back in?
Yeah, he's standing in the seat now, and his legs are down below the instrument panel.
Okay, get him back in. You're gonna have Bermuda LOS in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, he's coming in. He's having some trouble getting back in the spacecraft, it looks like.
You got your cabin lights up bright in case you hit darkness?
I can't reach his engine. Full Fox 7000, now 1, go local on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark. Going local.
This is Gemini Control, Houston. We apparently have lost signal in Bermuda after an extraordinary 20-minute conversation
Roger, we're seeing intermittent
with pilot Jim McDivitt and Ed White. The reason for the delay in receipt of the signal from Houston, of course, was that McDivitt had his key in a position so that he could not receive the signal up here. No great concern on the ground. The conversation was certainly stimulating. And we're assuming by now, at last report, we had Ed down in the seat. And we're assuming by now that they are about to close the door.
Go ahead, this Gemini 4.
Roger. Is he getting back in, Jim?
Listen, we're kind of busy. If you don't really have something for us, so we can wait a couple seconds.
Roger.
What'd you say, Gus?
So he's busy and he'd rather not talk to us.
Roger.
This is Gemini Control, Houston. We have lost signal with Bermuda. Our last report, McDivitt, was that everything was going along all right.
Flight the surgeon, we have Antigua data. We're reading ECGs.
And
Right.
we're standing by right now. We expect to get a cue from the flight director as to when we will next depressurize and open the spacecraft. This according to our original plan in order to jettison some of the bulkier gear.
Flight eco.
Among the items to be discarded in space are the chest pack, the emergency chest pack that Ed used, the space maneuvering unit, the umbilical, a number of items. There is some question as to whether the maneuvering unit will be discarded. It's not too bulky. At very least, the oxygen propulsion bottles on the maneuvering unit will be discarded. Perhaps the little oxygen thruster engines will be retained in the spacecraft. This is Gemini Control at 4 hours and 53 minutes into the mission.
That mission audio really is a treat. I appreciate everyone listening to today's episode. I would love it if you could drop a review for the podcast in your podcast platform of choice, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, wherever you listen. Drop me a rating and a review. That would be fantastic. New episodes will be coming out again soon. If you have any questions in the meantime, hit me up via emails, typically the best way, john@thespaceshot.com. That'll go right into the inbox on my phone. Love to hear from you. And until next time, I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
This is Gemini Control, Houston. At 5 hours and 10 minutes into the mission, to review for you the times, approximate times, of the extravehicular activity of Major White. We estimate here that the hatch was open, the right hatch was opened at 42 minutes after the hour. We have a time hack on his actual push away from the spacecraft at 45 minutes after the hour. He was back in and standing on the seat at 5 minutes after the hour, some 20 minutes after he left the spacecraft. We have not had an approximate time of hatch closure, however. Ascension was reading the spacecraft on some telemetry channels. They did not raise it by voice as it passed over that station a very few minutes ago. Right now it's approaching the Tananarive station, and we also have a station which may or may not be able to raise it at Pretoria, South Africa. The next major discussion we can look for is the Carnarvon station some 8 to 10 minutes from now. The spacecraft is in a dark side right now. Our data here shows approximately 2 pounds of fuel. 2 pounds were used to maintain attitudes during the extravehicular activity. The mission seems to be proceeding very nicely at 5 hours and 11 minutes in. This is Gemini Control, Houston.